I've hit start on all the things except for the timer, because I don't know where the remote is.
It's up here. Oh, I don't know how to work this. I'm gonna give it to you.
They're all yours, Katelyn.
All right. So for those of you that don't know about my journey to where I am now, a little bit about my background. I have a deep connection with the dairy industry. So a lot of my family members were in the dairy industry or are currently in the dairy industry. So that was a lot of where my passion for agriculture came from. Growing up, I was very active in 4-H, FFA. Wasn't really sure where I was going to go, kind of was more on the route of ag business, wanted to be a farmer. During my time in high school, I had the opportunity to be my county dairy princess. And during that time, I realized people do not know where their food comes from. They don't know about the agriculture industry as much as they think they do. So I really enjoyed getting to tell people about the industry that I so much loved. And being able to do that and going into classrooms, going out in my community and educating others made me want to be an educator and to continue my journey educating, advocating for agriculture. Oh, wrong way. So a lot of my presentation is going to have a lot of QR codes, so might want to get your phone ready. Makes it a little bit easier so I don't have to put a bunch of words on there. But my teaching philosophy is very much on student-centered growth. How can I make them better students? How can I prepare them for their future? Whether that is going on to college like I did, or going out into the workforce, finding what fits them. And then also giving them the opportunity to reflect and grow, connect with their community, knowing the importance of agriculture. In the document with my teaching philosophy is also my framework on my ideal program. In my ideal program, I would love to be a 2-teacher program. I think it just works better. Working with another person to kind of fill out into more opportunities to teach about different parts of agriculture. But in my ideal program, I don't have that. It's just me. I can't work with that other person's personality and knowledge. And so on my teaching philosophy, it just shows in a 1-teacher program where my strengths are, and being able to hit a broad topic of agriculture. So within there is ag business, ag mechanics, a horticulture, landscaping, everything, plants. I have animal and vet science is together. And then my 5th one is, I'm trying to remember. Oh, environment. That's really bad. Environmental. Very passionate about like forestry, the environment around you, understanding the environment around you, and being sustainable and how to protect it, and conservation. So I think that was really important to add in there. It's really bad that I forgot it. And then after that, it goes into more in depth into those courses and what I would provide for students. So going on to my classroom expectations, you can scan that QR code, but they're also up here on the board for you. These are my expectations in the spring when I student teach at Bermudian Springs, but they kind of outline what I expect in my future classroom as well, and I plan to use these in my future. The classroom consequences is also included in my QR code here, but it's just a generalization of the 2nd QR code, which is Bermudian Springs district rules. Because I'm in that classroom, I'm in that school, I'm following what they state is consequences, and as a teacher, that's what I'm following. That's what students should understand are the consequences. I have a pretty good group in the spring. I hope to not have to use those consequences and to bring them up constantly, but they're there so that we all are on the same page. Moving on to my comprehensive lab integration plan. It's kind of hard to see up here. I'll pass it around as well. I wanted to create an ag mechanics activity that could be for all students. Would fit all of their personalities, where they could kind of explore a project that they could be creative in, but also a project that is sustainable. So the QR code goes into a little bit more depth of my plan. But basically the plan is we could get recycled spoons, whether that's donated or they're really easy to get, like thrift store. I pick them up at auctions a lot. They're really easy to find and to reuse. So in that plan, you cut up the spoons and it's kind of an introductory to blacksmithing, which I think is a lost art that kind of could be brought back into an ag program. So it's like an introductory, this would be like a lesson or a first lab into a unit of blacksmithing, where we would be using like the simple concepts of learning how to use the tools, bending, heating, and forming into, I did rings for my integrated plan, but you could also do bracelets. I've seen people do bookmarks, money clips, necklaces, earrings. It's really up to the imagination of, but you're still getting those concepts of using those tools in your shop and getting the skills of bending and working with an anvil and in a blacksmithing shop. So along with my lab integration plan, here's some pictures of that plan a little bit. I will pass around. They don't really need to see it. They know what I did. Those are some things that kind of shed a light on what students could make with their project. But with my ideal facilities, I kind of centered around my lab integration plan. This is something I really like to integrate into a future program. So having an ideal facility of a blacksmith shop or a shed is a little bit bigger than what probably is realistic, but that's what I was going with, is fitting all the needs for a blacksmith shop into a program. It makes it unique. It brings back a skill to a program. I think it's very important. So in my ideal program with SAE integration, the QR code just goes into a little bit more of what SAE is, but I'm pretty sure everyone in this room knows what SAE is, or hopefully knows what it is. Just sharing a little bit of what I did in high school as an SAEs. I did multiple. So just to give an idea of what students can do, because you can do a whole lot in SAE now. So one of my SAE projects was with my job that I currently still work at Tractor Supply, where I just put in my paychecks, super simple of what I was doing. That's a very easy one for students, especially ones that aren't really brainstorming anything that they want to do a project or have the ability to do a project. That's a very simple one. Everyone has a job. Everyone can do that one. Something else that I did was I had a eBay in high school. So I'm really big into going to auctions, going to thrift stores, reselling, knowing the value of something. I've done it all my life, and I actually have gone on to do more with that outside of high school. I now have my own booth at a large antique facility. So something that students can do after high school, continuing on their SAE. And then I also did an egg production SAE, where I took my poultry that I used for showing at my county fairs and at other shows, and I sold them at my local livestock market to local people, friends, and made a business out of it on my own. So just being able to give students an idea of what they can do. I think that was the biggest problem with I had with SAE, is like I didn't know what I could do. And after my ag teacher told me all these ideas, I was like, oh, I could do so much with SAE. So giving students the opportunity to have a supervised agricultural experience, I think is very important to have an ag program. Not only does it get them involved more with FFA, but it also helps them build skills for a career outside of high school. And I think that's my main goal as an educator, is where are they going to go after they graduate? So along with that is FFA. My FFA integration would kind of work around with the SAE, but not all students are wanting to do the public speaking CDs and the LDEs. That was one of my things, was I was not a big public speaker. I had my ag teacher encouraged me to do it. It helped me build skills for my future. So kind of feeling out your students and wanting what skills and abilities they have will really help them. I think FFA is important to get involved, even if you're not part of agriculture or want to be part of agriculture. Like I said, my goal for all my students is, where are you going to be after high school? And FFA was a really big part of shaping me and the skills I have today. Even though I did go into a career in agriculture, if I chose not to, I would have had those skills anyways. So community outreach is very important to, I think, a program, an ag program. That's where you're getting your involvement, is from your community. It's also where sometimes you get your funding. So I think it's important to have your students doing that community outreach, doing things in your community, and also marketing the program. Just some things that I did in my community. The top one is me and a classmate, we were part of the Junior Farm Show Committee, which is for young people to help kind of see the background of the Pennsylvania Farm Show, help with the planning of that. It had a lot of responsibility with it. It had a lot of hard work, but it got me a lot of connections with agriculture and knowing how to be organized, plan things, social media, and knowing that there's a lot of work that goes into the farm show. It was a very beneficial thing to do for my community and for the farm show. The bottom one's just me and my sister. We did, with our FFA program, we did a town cleanup community service project. But simple things like that. There's other things I did in FFA. We did shoe boxes one year for the Samaritan Purse. We've also made the tie blankets. Just doing simple things like that, I think, are important. Not only give back to your community, but also market your program. I think social media is also a great way to market your program. Parents love to see their children being showcased on what they are doing out in the program, out in their community. So I think marketing your, not only marketing your program on social media, it also highlights those students who may not be getting highlighted in other things. They might not be part of sports. They might not even be in FFA, but in your program, they're getting highlighted because they're being showcased on your social media as they're doing something. I've had, over my lifetime, a lot of experiential education opportunities. I kind of really tried to slim it down. It was very hard. Some key courses that I took here at Penn State that I really think helped me grow as an educator. Dr. Ewing teaches AE 349 and 350, which are ag mechanics courses. Ag mechanics is not a strong suit of mine, and I really would like it to be, because as a future educator, ag mechanics is an important part of your program. And that course has really helped me to strengthen those skills, become a better educator because of it. Dr. Foster teaches AE 216, which is parliamentary procedures. I think parliamentary procedures is important in an ag program. Being able to lead a meeting, work with, I've used it in my own organizations and community outreach, and I didn't have really Parley Pro in my high school. So learning that now as an adult is really helping me now, but it would have really helped me in high school. So it's a really great class I recommend for any ag education major. And then my other one is RPTM 240, which is the outdoor school experience. I did outdoor school for 2 seasons. It's a really great experience. I was actually fortunate enough to experience outdoor school as a 5th grader. So being able to go back and be a counselor it's kind of a 360 experience. It was very interesting. Though I'm not going to be working with 5th graders probably in the future, it was still a great experience to educate students about the environment around them, the importance of understanding your environment, and working with other people, whether they may be in education or not. Working as a team was very good skill building. So other experiential education opportunities that I had outside of the classroom. I really slimmed it down. I tried. So I am part of my county Farm Bureau. I am currently the Young Ag Professionals Chair. And during that experience, I've gotten to work with a lot of farmers in my community, establish connections there. I also got to serve as a delegate for my county this past November at our annual meeting. So getting to listen about policy and government and what is affecting farmers really helped me get an insight for my classroom. Being able to share with students what's going on in the world around them about agriculture was very helpful. We had an experience as educators, ag educators, to work with some researchers here on campus to go and do a Plant Yourself an Ag Day out at the Paso Ag Museum, which is with ag education students currently in a high school program. So it's great to actually kind of be a teacher, but you're outside of the classroom. My group did repairing and buffers, which I knew nothing about starting off with. The researcher I worked with, Dr. Tyler Grow, really gave me an insight on what repairing and buffers were that I can use now in my classroom because I now know what they are. Like I said before, dairy promotion was how I kind of got into ag education. I now serve as my county coordinator. So I was princess and I now turned into my coordinator. It's a picture of my sister and I. She's currently serving as our county dairy princess. So it's really great to see that my mom was a dairy princess, then I became the county dairy princess, and now she's serving as our dairy princess. Just people passionate about dairy industry, passionate about agriculture. It's a great program to be part of. And then my last one, which I just came back from, was a great experience in Nashville at the NAAE conference. I got to network with a lot of educators across the country, one that I'm very close friends with now. It was just a great experience getting to know how their programs work, what agriculture's like in their state. Great experiences all together. It's a never-ending learning experience. So professional development real quick. Like I said, NAAE. I also, over the summer, got to experience the PAAE conference in Bradford. So that was great networking with ag teachers in this state and getting to becoming mentors to us and getting to hear their wisdom. And then also I've had lots of professional development here at Penn State, one of which is Ag I Squared, which was about inquiry-based learning. So certifications and accreditations I got, of course, the NSTOP, MOP. With my job, I get a lot of experiences to professionally develop, get certifications. I am currently forklift certified. I am certified to fill propane in the state of Pennsylvania. I am also fire extinguisher safety certified, all of which were great to use in a shop, classroom environment. And then I also got the National Center for Agricultural Literacy certification. During my Penn State career, I've gotten to work a lot with diverse learners. Like I said, with outdoor school, I got to work with fifth graders, all from different lifestyles, different learning levels. I also got to experience with LifeLink years, being able to teach a lesson to their group that really helped me with working with students, having to slow down, kind of explain more in a classroom that might not be at the learning level that you're at, but it was a great experience, definitely teaching to those students. So what we're here to talk about is my experience ahead, student teaching at Bermudian Springs. A little bit about my course load. The QR code up above is my lesson and unit plans, but the courses that I'll be teaching in the spring are floral design, AF&R. I will be teaching 3 sections of plant science and 2 sections of plant growth and marketing, as well as I will be teaching a unit of Mech and Tech 1 with the co-teacher at Bermudian Springs. A little bit about those courses. Floral design is a semester course that they get to do a lot of designing floral arrangements for people that are set up in a subscription in their school. So during that time that I will be teaching the class, they will get to design, I believe, 2 different arrangements, one of which is an Easter one. So I'm very excited for that. AFNR, that'll be the first course I will be taking over and the one I will be teaching the whole time of student teaching. I'm looking very forward to that. That's a course that I'm very much my strong suit. A lot of the things that I enjoy talking about. One of which is we're doing a trout in the classroom unit. I've never gotten the experience to have that, so I'm very excited to be able to teach that and use that in my future program. Plant science and plant growth and marketing are similar courses. Plant science is looking more into the inside of plants, how they grow, and plant growth and marketing is a lot with their greenhouse and working with their plant sale, marketing their product, establishing a business plan. So very exciting to be able to have a plant sale, being able to teach them how to have a business plan, how to successfully have a business. And then Mech and Tech 1, like I said, not my strong suit. I'm excited to be able to teach a unit of Mech and Tech and in their ag mechanics program so that it can start becoming a little bit more of my strong suit. But like I said, you can scan that QR code. You can look at my unit and lesson plans that I have in the spring. Kind of gives a little bit more in depth of what I'll be teaching. So goals that I have for myself to grow, I really would like to be able to establish sustainable agriculture in some way into my program. I think over my career at Penn State, sustainable agriculture is something I've heard a lot about, and I didn't really think about that in high school or hear about it in high school. And I think it's important for students to understand sustainable agriculture and how can we be part of that. Another one is improve social media presence. Social media is something that I do currently for a lot of the organizations I'm in, but how to do a social media for an ag program, working with students, especially ones that may not be able to be on social media. How can I have a social media presence as an ag educator? That's also kind of a goal that I have for my cooperating center. They do have a social media presence, but I really would like to get it more involved, kind of be an outreach opportunity to educate the community about agriculture and what they're doing at their program, because they do really great things at their program. And then my third one is strengthen industry and community partnerships. I have a really strong connection to my community, my county, but I don't outside of it. And if I'm going to teach out in a different place, which most likely I will, being able to strengthen my partnerships with locals at another county, another area of Pennsylvania, is something I really would like to do. So, any questions? Oh, thanks.
We'll ask the folks that are online, if you don't mind putting your questions in the chat. We will relay those over to Katelyn. Is there anybody that would like to start with a round of questions here?
You mentioned actually in your last slide about strengthening building community partnerships and strengthening community partnerships in a new area. How would you go about doing that?
So I have kind of in my lesson plans, I've kind of incorporated like opportunities if they come around come up, because I don't have that connection already. So I would like to kind of bring in that presence to the classroom. One of which with my Trout in the Classroom unit is bringing in the Pennsylvania Game Commission, bringing in someone from there to talk about what they do, kind of giving students an outlook into those types of careers would strengthen my community outreach in that area, but also would strengthen their kind of the grasp on, oh, there's a career that I might be interested in.
Hello, Peter.
Hi.
great presentation.
Thank
I'm really
you.
looking forward to working with you in the spring.
Me too.
My question for you actually is from recent history.
Mhm.
At NAAE, you got to go through the FAST program, meet ag teachers from across the country, and basically fill up your toolbox. So my question to you is, what is one thing that you're excited about being able to use from your freshly added to toolbox in your student teaching, whether that's from an experience, a lesson, what have you?
I learned a lot. There was a lot of talk at NAA about like global agriculture. Agriculture, I learned about a lot about agriculture in other states. I mean, very different from Pennsylvania to Oklahoma. So being able to integrate that into my program, whether that's my future program or hopefully in my spring when I'm student teaching, being able to showcase different types of agriculture around the world is definitely something I learned more about in the FAST program. I'm going to give you two because I came up with another. There's so many. I did a workshop at, it wasn't really part of FAST, but I did sit in on a workshop at NAA about producing sausage, which is very cool. I unfortunately don't in the spring have like a kind of a food-based course really other than AF&R. But being able to hopefully in the future or maybe even in the spring, if I could figure out a way to get in there, that was very informational and helpful for me. And it would be a great thing to add into an ag program.
I would say this, you don't have to answer this question,
Mhm.
this is more rhetorical. What's stopping you from adding it to your spring? The sausage thing.
True.
Caitlin, good job with all the certifications. They carry a lot of weight. A lot of entities like that, from State Department of Education to the local district. It's a sort of a two-part question of either directly by offering your students the chance to obtain those same certifications, or indirectly, what are your plans and sort of how do you touched on it, but how do you foresee at least sharing the content from that certification process from some of those with your future students?
So a lot of my certifications with Tractor Supply are on safety. So kind of just showcasing what safety is. A lot of my lessons in the spring that involve like working in the greenhouse, a shop. Our first thing we're doing is safety. First lesson, safety. Establishing what you can and can't do in a shop. Being safe, not injuring yourself is very important. So the knowledge that I've learned from those certifications, the training, and being able to incorporate it into that first lesson of why we do this is important. My other two, well, the National Safe Tractor Driving is also kind of what I would love to do that in a future program, if it allowed it, you know, kind of being able to give students that certification. I've seen a lot of ag programs also, they kind of each course that they teach, they try to fit some kind of certification in it. And I'd love to incorporate that somehow, but there's always, you know, funding and opportunity kind of fights back and forth with that, but that's something I'd love to incorporate in my future program. But my knowledge from those certifications, I definitely am involving in the spring and in the future is first step safety. A lot of mine are on safety. The ag literacy one, a lot of the content in that I'm going to be using in my AF&R class. The knowledge on agriculture, animals. They did a good bit on crops. Is definitely knowledge that has helped me strengthen that knowledge I already had to give that content to students. Did I answer your question?
Mhm.
Okay, that was a lot that I rambled about.
Caitlin, I'd like you to imagine in a year or so, you're either hired in a new district or a new school that has a new ag program, or a school that currently has one, but they're not offering an extended contract. And so you're in a conversation with your administrator and a principal, And the question comes up as to why would we give you an extended contract? You're just like any other teacher in the building. Can you succinctly justify what makes ag programs and the ag teacher at the helm different from the rest of the people in the building?
Yeah, I think a lot of that comes from marketing yourself, marketing your program, but also with that community outreach, you kind of have your community to back you up. So being able to showcase what your program is doing, what your program does outside of the classroom, definitely sets you apart from what programs are doing in the school. But I also think a lot of the times when they're not doing extended contract, it's funding. Funding's always really an issue in a program. So being able to have a program that kind of sustains itself, is creating a revenue for itself, creating something that makes it concrete, makes it a good program. My big goal, like I said before, was where are students going after they graduate high school. So just being able to showcase that this student went out and did this, getting the certification in this course has helped this student to get this career. So your students are what reflects your program. So giving your students the opportunity to really excel, I think really helps your program to be able to justify itself.
Katelyn, I just wanted to commend you on your project because I love that you thought like outside the box and thought like the blacksmithing and coming from a program that had a lot of that equipment kind of shoved in a little corner that I tried to pull back out and to like use with students that were looking for doing something new and different, even though it wasn't like new. Like blacksmithing is not new, but something that they hadn't ever engaged in. But as you think about that, and if a future program wanting to integrate that into your program, what is your approach to an evaluation of program planning?
So I would integrate it into just like if I have like a general ag mechanics class, I have it more in my head right now as a unit just because it's not an industry that is booming right now, but it is a skill that's going to help students in a career like welding or a career in fabrication. Like those skills and being able to use those tools are going to help them outside of blacksmithing. But being able to put on a resume like I can do blacksmithing really helps you stand out. So yeah, in my ideal program, if I was integrating it into my program right now, I would add it in as like a unit of just blacksmithing, part of an ag mechanics course.
I have another question.
Okay.
So I've had the privilege of being able to see your development from the summer to now, and like meeting new people, and you're a really friendly person. And so like relationships matter to you. And so when you're going into the classroom, the relationship's a bit different with students.
Mhm.
So how are you planning to balance the relationship being a teacher and they are a student and it not become a friend-based relationship? I guess.
Yeah, I think that's something that a lot of people struggle with in the classroom because they do care about their students and it kind of turns into more friends. I want to make it clear that I'm a mentor to students. I am their teacher. I do have to lay down the law sometimes. Yeah, I want my role to be a mentor. I don't want to be a friend. I want to be a mentor. I want to be the person that's helping you. How can we develop? How can we build skills to make you a better person? How can I help you with you want to be a veterinarian. How can I help you do that? And I think that's what sets me apart from being a student's friend is your friends do that as well, but I have the knowledge, I have the skills, and the ability to help you do those things.
Questions for Katelyn? Shane has one in the chat.
Oh, I missed this, I'm sorry. Okay, sorry about that.
How will you balance agriculture content, student engagement, and classroom management when teaching a diverse group of students?
Oh, I think patience is a big part of that. Being able to control your temper, control your emotions in the classroom, and being organized helps your classroom management a lot. Definitely organization when you're not organized. That's definitely when things turn south. Definitely when students' behavior starts changing. What was the other part of that question? The first part?
Was balancing agriculture content, student engagement, and classroom management when teaching a diverse group of students.
Okay, yeah. So I think just keeping yourself organized is going to definitely help with the management, the behaviors. Diverse students definitely is one you're going to just have to be patient about. Work with those students individually. Stop, make sure everybody's on the same page. It's, might add a little bit more time to your lesson, but then you know that your students are understanding the content, are feeling that this is a course that they're enjoying. Definitely with agriculture, if you don't come from that background, it can be confusing. You might not understand it at times. There's stuff in agriculture that I don't even understand sometimes. So being able to kind of give it to students so that it's general, but also, just overall patience, organization, keeping yourself in check. Right.
If there's no other questions, can you join us in thanking? We have one more presentation this afternoon.